I'll break this one down a little bit more for you. Take all of the size 8 bolts off and pull the housing off. Pop the 17 nuts off, ideally using a torque gun, guys. I spent many years trying to track these and buying specialist tools. The torque gun does it so quick. There it is. Many years of messing around, and the torque gun does it like that. Remember the position of everything. Just put them down like that. This needs a good clean. And actually the belt's not travelling that high, but that's kind of okay. The belt can come off. If you need help, press in the middle and then pull it off, that's fine. It can stay on the back. And then like we saw last time, we want everything to come out. I mean this, look at that. It is rock solid. That, absolutely rock solid. Wow, wow. Them rollers are wrecked. That is ridiculous. That is shocking. I'm gonna have to use some WD-40 in there, guys. That roller is meant to spin. That's meant to spin freely. This bike will be a bit quicker once this is done. It's also quite rusty in there. So you need to get it all off, give it all a good clean and a good polish. Although these rollers are some of the worst I've seen. Look how flat that is there, look. You can turn them because they roll in a certain spec. Clean them and turn them if you haven't got spares. Ideally I would have spares, but I don't have any at this stage. So get it all off, including the last 2 pieces. Get them cleaned, polished up, inside and out. That's kind of the next step. So whatever's going on here, I mean, I don't want to force it off. That I've sprayed it, I've lubed it, I've gripped it. I am going to play a little bit more with it because ideally I would, but I don't want to force it. So if it looks like I'm forcing on the crank, I'm going to just clean everything else up and put it back on with a bit of grease. Ideally that would be spinning as well, but as long as the case around it spins, then it's not too much of an issue. It should ideally come off and be cleaned, but there's nothing we can do if it won't. I don't want to force it, I don't want to crack it or anything like that at this stage. So I got it off with a bit of prying from behind. Spray everything with carb or brake cleaner, get it all really clean inside and out. I use little bits of grease here and there to stop that happening actually, but nothing that will get on the belt or the main surface at all. And put it back together. I mean, you saw how solid that was. It shouldn't be like that, so make sure it's all cleaned up thoroughly. I'm not going to show you that process because it's common sense. If something goes inside or it rolls around something, clean it. Use a bit of abrasive if needed, but not much. Use a bit of metal cleaner if needed. Just make sure it's clean. So I'm going to spend some time doing that now. So just some observations while we're here. The rollers are the worst I've ever seen. I shouldn't be putting them back in really, but until we get a new set, they'll have to. We haven't got any of the mounts here, the rubber plastic mounts, which means it will be a bit rattly. They haven't fallen out. They're literally not here. They won't have been in there. So it's in a bad state. I mean, ideally, I'd be buying a slightly aftermarket performance Variator for 30-40 quid. I might even do that, guys, just for kind of giggles. The bike ride's fine now as it is, but if we can get a tiny bit more power out of it, that's pretty cool. So I may get a little aftermarket one with all its rollers and stuff to throw in. I'm just not happy with this setup at this stage. Also, it's meant to have its housing here, which it's not got. And what worries me there is the fact that it's not shimmed correctly, and it's not shimmed correctly at this stage, because I think that's probably why the kick isn't working. I have got a shim. I might even use 2 to pull it forward a touch, but I think that's why the kick isn't engaging with it. So it's all a little bit touchy in here at the moment. I'd probably prefer a new one. But I have cleaned and polished up everything. So it's going to be a bit better, but I think I'm almost definitely going to buy a new one. And maybe a little bit of a sporty one as well. So it's pieced back together just to show you guys that it is torqued on with the gun on medium setting. So first on slow, then medium setting. The kick, I think I kind of get why the kick wasn't working. I think it needs to be shimmed this way a little bit, but that will become irrelevant if I buy a new Variator, which I think I will. Great, so I'm going to put the housing on. I mean, don't get me wrong guys, it's going to be a bit better. But with them rollers being so squared as they are, it would never run as well. And actually it wouldn't need just rollers, it would need the cushions, it would need shimming. Really it should have the rear plate on it like we saw recently on the Suzuki actually, funny enough. That's what I should have done. I should have seen if I have some rollers in that Suzuki actually. But nope, I'm going to look at a kit. But let me put this back together, torque it all up, take it out, just make sure it still does the basics. To be fair, up and down here, it was hitting 30 miles an hour anyway. So let's see if it feels a touch better. It will definitely feel a touch better. But let's just double check that. Quick spin, just make sure it's doing what it did. Probably would help if I pump the tyres. It rides really well for 50, really well, perfectly well actually. Yeah, 30, 35 with a bad Variator. I'm really pleased with this one. It ran really well, feels solid, clean. I'm really pleased with this one. I'm going to give the wheels a bit of a clean, and then tomorrow that'll go for an MOT and it should pass. It will pass. I've got a logbook, it will have its MOT, it's got a new key set. I've done it a carb service, a Variator service, although I may wait a few days to sell it and buy the extra one for my kind of peace of mind really, and because I'd be curious as to what the performance is like with a better high performance one. Let me get online now and see what's about and what they cost. Racing Variator is 50 quid. I'm just getting Rajab to test it because I can get new rollers and the dampeners for 9 quid. So I'm just getting Rajab to test it. I mean, it's doing 30, 35. So I don't know. Do I need to spend 50 quid for instead of 9? I want him to see. It looks plenty fast to me. It goes okay, that little thing, and that's with squared off rollers. Look at his legs. Look at that. It's plenty fast for a little B-restricted 50. Yeah, I'm going to get the rollers and dampeners. Oh, 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 off. There you go. It's a 50cc. I think I'm going to buy new rollers and the dampeners rather than the... It don't need a racing kit, does it? I mean,
yeah, it makes a bit.
it's a 50cc, man.
Yeah, still. Something to flap around out from it.
50 quid. Yeah, but that I think that's quick enough for 50. I've been on much slower
Actually,
Chinese 50s.
Actually, you don't want to blow the engine for a racing kit on that.
No, I think I'm getting rollers.
Just get the new rollers and don't
yeah, and the dampeners, exactly.
blow out the engine on it.
Yeah, I think that's it. It rode really well. It does 30-35, and actually the tyres are a little bit low, so that's going to slow it down. Yeah, in fact, the front's flat. All right, cool. I think that's decided. New rollers, and yeah, it rides too well otherwise. And I'm going to take that for an MOT tomorrow, guys. I'll put the front one's flat. I'll put some air in it now. Cool. I'm really pleased. I think it looks really quite shiny. I think it's come out quite nice. Shame about the side panels. Okay, guys, I'm very happy with that. Very happy with that. One thing about the AP50, I've been wondering about fuel flow on it, but it is on eBay at the moment, so I'm not going to mess with that yet. What I wanted to do was put direct flow on it and see if that made a difference. Our experiment is still up here on the wall, look. Now the fuel has definitely discoloured a little, but let's see the integrity of the... It's actually okay. It's not slimy. It may have shrunk a little. Has it shrunk a little? I think it's shrunk a little, but it's still... Look, it's not solid, it's not broken. So actually, I'd be quite happy to use them with the E5, although of course it's always best practice. And that's a week. I mean, what if that was in for a month? We just kind of don't know at this stage. But it did better than I expected it to do. And that means that the gunk, whatever bike we were working on a while back and there was stuff in the carb, that means that didn't come from the fuel hose. It came from probably the fuel lines, actually. Okay, so where are we next? Well, we're nowhere near it, really. There's nothing left to do. So I think it's wrapping up for today. And tomorrow we'll take that for MOT and we'll get out the lexmoto and see if we can get some spark. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Do drop a comment, any comment. Do click the like button, please subscribe, please press the bell button, it's all helpful. I think the channel for its first time ever might get over £200 this month. I think it was looking like £202, which is pretty amazing actually. That's nothing to be sniffed upon at all. So guys, I'm off to view a bike in my own car. Now I don't do this often enough. Where I go and view a bike. Normally I buy a fan and then I feel inclined to buy when I get there, even if I'm not keen on it. In a way, the last red Zontes was that as well. It was a bit too pricey, it needed tyres, it needed too much, but I'd already hired a fan and I was there. So I'm doing a drive in my car. It's about half an hour, have a look at this bike. If I think it's worth it, I'm going to come back, do my little MOT on the Peugeot, and then head back and pick this up later. It's a good way to do it. I've chatted to the guy, but they rarely give you the real information. That's the truth. He reckons it's a good running bike, but the brakes are seized. Again, you never really get the full information. So I want to check the tyres, the suspension, the chains, everything, and make sure it revs like normal. It's good practice. I need to do it more often, but let's go and have a look and see what this thing's like. Bike, better than he's advertised it actually. I've got to get this moped done. Really, you need to jump on these kinds of bikes. It's much better than he's advertised. So I am going to get that MOT done anyway, and then my aim is to shoot back ASAP and pick this one up. It's worth every penny. Okay, we're off to MOT. Quick check of everything, it all seems good. Check of the front tyre, I'm not sure if it has a slow puncher. Nah, it's good. That's it, let's go, let's get this done. So we're back guys with a clean bill of health. Full MOT, no advisories. That's great. I think I'm going to get the advert up because it's kind of £500, and I'll just explain it's missing its side panels, but it doesn't really make much difference. What I think I will do though is probably get them ordered anyway, and also I'm waiting for the rollers, aren't I? So basically, if it sells for 500 quid, they can take it. It's got an MOT, it's doing the job. If not, then I'll get the side panels on, put the new rollers on, and re-advertise it again next weekend. Now, the bike I went to view a couple of hours ago, really bloody annoying. We agreed a deal on 550. Now, it's an EFI system bike, so 550 when it's, you know, needing work makes sense. We shook on it and I said I'll be back in 3 hours to pick it up between 1 and 2, and it's now 12, guys, or quarter past. Salt sand weight. So basically he then texted me back, you know, 45 minutes later and said no, I don't agree on the 550 anymore, so I'm going to stick to 600, which is the first price he said. And I said, alright, you know, 600, I can just about scrape a profit out of that. 600's fine. And then since then he hasn't messaged me back. Now I've called him twice, I've messaged him twice, the advert's still up on, you know, Facebook Marketplace, but I don't know whether to hire a fan or not. Now if I hired a fan and spent the 37 quid and he messed me around, I'd be pissed. And I know where he lives because I've been up there already. Not that I would do anything stupid, but that's not the point. He agreed a deal, went back on the deal, but worse still, even with his added 50 quid, hasn't said to me, yes, you're next, come and pick it up between 1 and 2, even though that's what we originally agreed. So I'm in no man's land at the moment. I haven't booked a fan because, I mean, I did try to book a fan actually, and my card declined, so I have to call them and book using a different card. But the point is, I haven't booked it yet because he's messing me around anyway. So I need to be really careful and see what happens. Ideally, he'll message me or call me soon and say, yeah, you know, come and get it, and then I'll get a fan quickly and I'll go up and get it. Otherwise, you know, there's not much we can do really, except for work on the bikes. We've got the lexmotos over there and it needs the spark looking at. If anyone asks for a shout out, remember the videos you're seeing are 2 or 3 days behind, yes? So they would have been filmed 2 or 3 days before. So I can't shout you out in the next video when I filmed the next video 2 days beforehand. But I did do some shout outs in the last video, which you guys should see at some point, maybe this weekend, maybe in the week. And the other thing I was thinking was, I basically did this full time this week. Full time. I don't know if I could do this full time. I don't know how YouTubers do full-time YouTube. It's a lot of work, guys, not just the editing, but the answering people's questions, chatting to people. I mean, it's all good on the YouTube platform, but there's so many people messaging through Messenger and stuff like that. It takes up so much time. Then editing, filming, editing, doing the actual work to the bike. It is a lot of work, all of it. So I think I'm glad for this to be a weekend hobby, and I'm happy to stick to my main job for now.